The gate slammed shut behind her with a sound that felt heavier than iron. Lena Brooks didn't turn around. She stood still for a moment, fingers clenched around the thin plastic bag that held everything she owned, and inhaled like she was testing whether freedom had a smell. Cold air. Dust. Exhaust fumes from the road beyond the fence. Ordinary things that felt unreal after 3 years of concrete walls and counted breaths. "Don't mess this up," she whispered to herself. Her phone buzzed in her palm. She flinched, then looked down. An unknown number. She hesitated before answering. "Hello?" "You're late," a man's voice said. Calm, controlled, not loud, but sharp enough to cut. "The interview was scheduled for 9. Lena glanced at the cracked screen. 9:07 a.m. "I'm on my way," she said quickly. "I had transportation issues. That won't be tolerated here," he replied. "You have 10 minutes. If you're not at the gate, the position is no longer available." The line went dead. Her heart pounded. 10 minutes. She broke into a run, worn sneakers slapping the pavement as she followed the address she'd memorized like a prayer. This was her last lead. The only callback. The only person who hadn't hung up the moment she mentioned her record. The estate appeared suddenly, rising behind tall hedges and iron fencing, elegant and intimidating. Security watched her approach, eyes cold, hands already near their radios. "I'm here for the nanny position," Lena said, breathless. "Lena Brooks." They checked a tablet. One nodded and opened the gate just enough for her to slip through. Inside, everything was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of silence that came from money and control. A man stood at the entrance of the house, hands clasped behind his back. Tall, dark suit, expression unreadable. "You're late," he said again, in person this time. "I know," Lena replied, forcing herself to meet his eyes. "And I'm sorry." Marcus Vale studied her like she was a problem to be solved, not a person. "Do you have any idea how many people would kill for this opportunity?" "Yes," she said softly. "That's why I ran." Something flickered in his gaze, gone as quickly as it appeared. "Follow me." Inside, the house felt more like a museum than a home. Lena kept her hands to herself, afraid to touch anything. "This position is not about you," Marcus said as they walked. "It is about my daughter, her safety, her routine, her peace. If you are here to lie, manipulate, or look for sympathy, you will fail." "I'm not," Lena said. "I just want to work." He stopped and turned to her. "You were incarcerated." Her chest tightened. There it was, straight to the throat. "Yes." "For theft." She nodded. "Yes." "You left that part out of your application." "They told me if I wrote it, I wouldn't get an interview." "Correct," he said. "You wouldn't have." Silence stretched between them. "Then why am I still standing here?" Lena asked quietly. Marcus looked at her for a long moment. "Because my daughter hasn't spoken more than a sentence to a nanny in 2 years, and you came recommended by someone I trust." He opened a door. A small girl sat by the window, knees tucked to her chest, staring outside like the world had disappointed her too early. Dark curls, big eyes, too serious for her age. "This is Ivy," Marcus said. "She doesn't like strangers." Lena crouched slowly, keeping her voice gentle. "That's okay. I don't like strangers either." Ivy didn't look at her. Marcus crossed his arms. "You have 1 week. One mistake, you're gone." Lena swallowed. "I understand." As Marcus left the room, Ivy finally spoke. "Are you like the others?" Lena smiled sadly. "I don't think so." "Everyone leaves," Ivy said. Lena felt something crack inside her chest. "I'm not planning to." Ivy turned then, studying her. They all say that. Lena nodded. I know. That night, alone in the small staff room, Lena lay awake staring at the ceiling, heart racing. She had made it inside, past the gate, past the first wall. But the past didn't stay buried forever. And somewhere in this house, she could already feel it breathing. Lena woke before the alarm. Her body still hadn't learned the difference between safety and survival. Prison had trained her to be alert, to listen for footsteps, keys, voices. Even here in a quiet staff room with clean sheets and a private bathroom, sleep came in fragments. She showered quickly, dressed in simple clothes she'd laid out the night before, and tied her hair back. When she stepped into the hallway, the house was already awake. Soft footsteps padded toward her. Good morning, Lena said gently. Ivy stopped. She wore a pale blue dress, her hair half-combed, eyes wary. You're still here, Ivy said. Yes, Lena replied. I said I would be. Ivy studied her like she was testing a theory. You didn't leave in the night? No, Lena said. I slept, like normal people. Ivy frowned. Nannies don't stay. Lena knelt to Ivy's level. Maybe this one will. From the staircase above, Marcus watched them. He said nothing, but his jaw tightened. He didn't believe in maybes. Breakfast was tense. Ivy barely touched her food. Marcus read emails on his tablet, attention split but sharp. She doesn't like eggs, Lena said softly. Marcus looked up. She's always eaten eggs. She pushed them to the side, Lena replied. She likes the toast, though. Ivy froze. Marcus frowned. Ivy? She noticed. Ivy muttered. Marcus stared at Lena. You've been here less than 12 hours. Lena shrugged. Kids say a lot without words. Marcus didn't respond, but he closed his tablet. After breakfast, Ivy retreated to the playroom. Lena followed at a distance, letting the child lead. You don't talk much, Ivy said suddenly. I talk enough, Lena replied. Why did you go to prison? The question hit hard. Lena paused, heart pounding. That's not something I can explain all at once. So you're bad, Ivy said simply. Lena crouched again. No, I made a bad decision. Ivy considered this. Daddy says bad people lie. I'm not lying, Lena said carefully. I'm just not ready. Ivy nodded like that made sense. Okay. That afternoon, Marcus tested her. He asked her to follow schedules that contradicted each other, corrected her in front of staff, and watched for reactions. Lena swallowed pride, apologized when needed, and stayed calm when her hands shook. When Ivy tripped and scraped her knee, Lena didn't call for help. She sat on the floor with her, cleaned the wound, and whispered, "It's okay to cry." Ivy cried. Later, Marcus found his daughter asleep with her head on Lena's lap. Something twisted uncomfortably in his chest. That evening, Vanessa Crowe arrived unannounced. "Marcus," she said, kissing his cheek. "You didn't tell me you hired someone new." Lena stood. "Hello?" Vanessa's smile was polite, sharp. "You must be temporary." "I'm the nanny," Lena said. Vanessa's eyes flicked to Ivy. "She gets attached easily." "So do people," Lena replied. Marcus cleared his throat. "Vanessa, this isn't the time." Vanessa smiled wider. "I'll come back." When she left, the air felt heavier. "She doesn't like you," Ivy said. "That's okay," Lena replied. "I don't need everyone to." Marcus watched Lena longer than necessary that night. "You did well today," he said finally. "Thank you," Lena replied. "This doesn't mean I trust you. I wouldn't expect you to." Silence stretched. "Why did you really take this job?" Marcus asked. Lena met his gaze. "Because I want a life that doesn't end every time someone Googles my name." Marcus didn't answer. But for the first time, he didn't look away. The sound of breaking glass snapped through the quiet like a gunshot. Lena was already moving before she fully understood it. She ran toward the playroom, heart racing, mind screaming all the ways this could end badly. Ivy stood frozen near the window, shards of glass scattered across the floor, her small hands trembling. "I didn't mean to," Ivy whispered. "It just slipped." "It's okay," Lena said quickly, stepping carefully around the glass. "Don't move. You're not in trouble." Marcus appeared in the doorway seconds later, face tight. "What happened?" "I dropped it," Ivy said, her voice cracking. Marcus exhaled sharply. "I told you not to touch that." Ivy's eyes filled with tears. Lena turned to Marcus without thinking. "It was an accident." His gaze snapped to her. "You don't correct me in front of my child." Lena felt heat rush to her face, but she stayed calm. "You're right. I'm sorry." She crouched, checking Ivy's hands. "Are you hurt?" Ivy shook her head. "Okay," Lena said softly. "Then we clean up together. Accidents don't make us bad." Marcus watched in silence as Lena guided Ivy away, wrapped the glass carefully, and distracted her with a silly story about a clumsy princess who broke a window and lived happily anyway. Later that night, Marcus found Lena in the kitchen, quietly washing dishes no one had asked her to wash. "You don't have to do that," he said. "I know," she replied. "It helps me think." He leaned against the counter. "You challenged me today." "I protected her," Lena said, meeting his eyes. "There's a difference." He studied her. "You're walking a thin line." "So are you," she said before she could stop herself. His jaw tightened. "Explain." "You're afraid she'll get hurt again," Lena said. "So you control everything, but she's still hurting." Silence. Marcus finally spoke. "You don't know what it's like to lose someone." Lena's chest ached. "I know what it's like to lose everything." Their eyes locked. For a second, the walls between them felt thinner. The following days blurred into routines that felt almost normal. Ivy laughed more. Marcus hovered less. Lena found herself smiling without guilt. Until Ethan Hale showed up. He was polite. Too polite. Clean suit. Curious eyes. "I'm looking for Lena Brooks," he said to the front desk. Lena felt the blood drain from her face when security called her name. Marcus noticed immediately. "What's wrong?" "Nothing," Lena lied. Marcus frowned. "You're shaking." Ethan greeted her with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "We need to talk." "About what?" Lena asked. "Your past," he said quietly. "Someone's asking questions." Her heart pounded. "I don't know what you mean." "You will," Ethan replied. "Soon." Marcus watched the exchange, suspicion sharpening. That night he confronted her. "Who was that man?" "No one," Lena said. Marcus's voice hardened. "Don't lie to me." Lena swallowed. "I can't talk about it yet." "Then you shouldn't be here," Marcus snapped. The words cut deeper than she expected. She went to her room and cried silently, biting her hand to keep from making a sound. The next morning, Ivy hugged her tightly. "You're sad." "I'll be okay," Lena whispered. "You're not leaving, are you?" Lena hesitated. "I don't know." Ivy pulled back, eyes wide. "You promised." Lena's heart broke. "I promised I wouldn't plan to." Marcus overheard. That night, alone in his office, Marcus stared at the background check on his desk. Incomplete. Red flags. Missing pieces. He told himself he didn't care. But he couldn't stop thinking about how his daughter laughed now, how the house felt warmer, and how dangerous hope could be. Marcus didn't sleep. He sat at his desk long after the house went quiet, the glow from his laptop casting hard shadows across the room. The report in front of him was thin, too thin. Dates that jumped, names redacted, charges listed, but details missing. It irritated him. Unknowns always did. He picked up his phone and hesitated before dialing. Then he stopped himself. No, he wouldn't dig. Not yet. Down the hall, Lena lay awake, staring at the wall. Ethan's voice echoed in her head. Someone's asking questions. She had known this day would come. She just hadn't expected it to arrive so soon, or hurt this much. The next morning, she was quieter. "You're thinking too loudly," Ivy said, swinging her legs as Lena brushed her hair. Lena smiled faintly. "Is that a thing?" "It is for you," Ivy replied. "You make a face." Lena paused. "Is it a bad face?" "It's a scared face." Lena's hands stilled. "What makes you think that?" "Because Daddy makes that face when he's pretending not to be scared," Ivy said. Lena swallowed. That afternoon, Vanessa returned. This time, she didn't announce herself. She found Lena in the garden, Ivy nearby, chalk dust on her fingers. "You're settling in fast," Vanessa said. "I'm doing my job," Lena replied calmly. Vanessa tilted her head. "Do you know how many women have tried to play house here?" "I'm not playing," Lena said. Vanessa smiled, slow and sharp. "Marcus doesn't keep people around who complicate his life." Lena met her gaze. "Neither do I." Vanessa's eyes flicked to Ivy. "Children get attached easily. It's cruel to give them false stability." The words landed like a slap. Before Lena could respond, Marcus appeared. "Vanessa." "I was just leaving," Vanessa said smoothly. "I hope you're being honest with him." Lena watched her walk away, chest tight. That night, Marcus spoke first. "You've been distracted," he said. "I know," Lena replied. "I'm sorry." "Are you in trouble?" he asked. She looked at him, really looked. "If I say yes, will you fire me?" His jaw clenched. "That depends." "On what?" "On whether you're a risk to my daughter." Lena nodded slowly. "Then I can't answer." Silence stretched between them, heavy and loaded. "I need time," she said quietly. "Just a little." Marcus turned away. "Time is expensive." "So is trust," she replied. He didn't respond. 2 days later, Ivy didn't come down for breakfast. Lena found her curled under her bed, shaking. "I don't feel good," Ivy whispered. Lena scooped her up instantly. "I've got you." Marcus rushed in moments later. "What happened?" "She has a fever," Lena said. "She needs rest." They spent the night taking turns, Ivy clinging to Lena's shirt, refusing to let go. "Don't leave," Ivy murmured in her sleep. Lena's throat tightened. "I'm here." Marcus watched from the doorway, conflict tearing at his composure. At dawn, Ivy finally slept peacefully. Marcus spoke softly. "You stayed." Lena nodded. "Of course. Most people wouldn't." "I'm not most people." He studied her face, tired but gentle. "Whatever you're hiding, it matters." "So does what we're building," Lena replied. For a moment, he looked like he might reach for her. Then his phone rang. Ethan's name lit up the screen. Marcus answered. "We need to talk," Ethan said. "It's about your nanny." Marcus's grip tightened. "Be careful." "I am," Ethan replied. "That's why I'm calling." Marcus ended the call and looked at Lena. "Pack a bag," he said quietly. Her heart dropped. "You're firing me?" "No," he said. "I'm protecting my daughter." Lena nodded, tears burning her eyes. "I understand." She went to her room and folded her clothes with shaking hands. Ivy appeared at the door. "You're leaving," Ivy said. "Just for a little while," Lena whispered. Ivy shook her head violently. "No, you can't." Lena hugged her tightly, breathing in her scent, memorizing the feel of her small arms. "I love you," Ivy whispered. The words shattered her. "I love you too," Lena said, voice breaking. Marcus watched them, something cracking open inside him. As Lena walked out, she didn't look back, because if she did, she wouldn't be able to leave. And Marcus wasn't sure he'd ever forgive himself for letting her go. Lena didn't stop walking until the gate closed behind her again. This time, the sound didn't feel like freedom. It felt like exile. She stood on the pavement with her small bag in hand, chest tight, breathing shallow. Cars passed. Life moved. The world didn't pause just because hers had cracked open. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She already knew. "Hello," she said. "You left before we finished our conversation," Ethan Hale said. "I did that on purpose." He chuckled lightly. "You always were smart." Her jaw tightened. "What do you want?" "To warn you," he said. "Marcus Vale doesn't like surprises, and your file is full of them." "I paid my debt," Lena said, voice shaking. "I served my time." "That doesn't erase curiosity," Ethan replied, "especially when someone like Vanessa Crowe is asking questions." Lena closed her eyes. Vanessa, of course. "Tell her whatever you want," Lena said. "I'm done." Ethan paused. "You should tell Marcus the truth yourself." She laughed bitterly. He already made his choice. Back at the house, Ivy refused dinner. "I'm not hungry," she said, pushing the plate away. Marcus watched her closely. "You barely ate lunch." "I want Lena," Ivy said plainly. Marcus's chest tightened. She had to leave. "Why?" Ivy demanded. He hesitated. "Because sometimes adults make mistakes." Ivy's eyes filled with tears. She didn't. That night, Marcus sat alone in the dark living room, replaying every moment. Lena's calm voice, her fierce protectiveness, the way Ivy slept better when Lena was near. His phone buzzed. "Vanessa." "You did the right thing," she said when he answered. "People like her bring chaos." "People like her?" Marcus asked quietly. Vanessa sighed. "Ex-cons, liabilities." Something inside him hardened. Meanwhile, Lena sat on a bus bench, wrapped in her jacket, staring at nothing. Memories pressed in. The night she'd made the choice that ruined everything. The fear, the desperation. She hadn't stolen for greed. She'd stolen to survive. And now survival meant walking away again. Her phone rang. Marcus's name lit the screen. Her breath caught. She didn't answer. The phone rang again, then stopped. Across town, Marcus stared at his phone, jaw tight. He stood abruptly, grabbing his keys. "Sir?" the housekeeper asked. "I'm going out." "To where?" Marcus hesitated. "To get answers." He found Ethan first. "You knew," Marcus said coldly. "I suspected," Ethan replied. "And now I know. She was convicted of theft under extreme circumstances." Marcus's voice was sharp. "What circumstances?" Ethan handed him a file. "Medical debt. A child she was caring for, not hers. She pleaded guilty to protect someone else." Marcus flipped through the pages, anger shifting into something heavier. "She wasn't a threat," Ethan said. "Just inconvenient." Marcus left without another word. He drove until the city lights blurred, then stopped abruptly when he spotted her. Lena sat alone, shoulders slumped, eyes hollow. He got out of the car. She looked up, startled. "You shouldn't be here." "I know," he said. "I fired you." She stood. "Then go." "I won't," he replied. Silence stretched. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked. Her voice broke. "Because every time I do, people decide who I am without asking why." He swallowed. "I did that." "Yes," she said softly. "I'm sorry," Marcus said. "I was wrong." Tears spilled over. "I can't do this again." "I know," he said. "But Ivy needs you." Her chest ached. "I need to be chosen without conditions." Marcus nodded. "Then come back. Not as a secret, not as a risk, as someone who matters." She looked at him, really looked. "You don't get to promise that lightly." "I know," he said. "That's why I'm here." Lena exhaled shakily. Back at the house, Ivy bolted down the stairs when she saw Lena. "You came. Back!" Lena dropped her bag as Ivy collided with her, arms tight around her waist. "I missed you," Ivy sobbed. "I missed you too," Lena whispered. Marcus watched them, emotion burning behind his eyes. That night, as Ivy slept peacefully, Marcus stood beside Lena in the hallway. "I don't know how this ends," he said. "Neither do I," Lena replied. "But," he added, "I want to try." She nodded. "So do I." Their hands brushed. Neither pulled away. And for the first time, the future didn't feel like something to run from. It felt like something to face. Morning light crept into the house softly, as if it didn't want to disturb the fragile peace that had settled overnight. Lena stood at the kitchen counter, staring into a mug of tea she hadn't touched. Her body was in the house, but her mind was braced for impact, waiting for the moment everything would fall apart again. Marcus watched her from the doorway. "You didn't sleep," he said. She shook her head. "I kept waiting for someone to knock and tell me it was a mistake." He stepped closer. "No one's knocking." She looked at him then. "People always change their minds." "I'm not people," Marcus said quietly. Before she could respond, small footsteps padded into the room. Ivy rubbed her eyes. "You're still here." Lena smiled. "Good morning." Ivy crossed the room and wrapped her arms around Lena's waist without hesitation. "Daddy didn't make you leave again?" Marcus's chest tightened. "I won't." Ivy studied his face seriously. "Promise?" Marcus knelt. "I promise to listen before I decide." Ivy nodded, satisfied, and skipped off toward the table. Lena exhaled slowly. That was a big promise. "It should have been made sooner," Marcus replied. The days that followed were not perfect. Trust didn't rebuild itself overnight. Lena still flinched when Marcus grew quiet. Marcus still caught himself watching her too closely, waiting for something to go wrong. Vanessa didn't disappear quietly. She confronted Marcus in his office, voice tight with frustration. "You're making a mistake. Her past will surface again." Marcus met her gaze calmly. "It already did." "And you're still keeping her?" Vanessa pressed. "Yes," Vanessa scoffed. "You're letting emotions cloud your judgment." Marcus leaned back. "No, I'm finally using it." She stood, smoothing her dress. "When this blows up, don't say I didn't warn you." Marcus didn't respond. That evening, Lena overheard part of the conversation. She stood frozen in the hallway, heart pounding. "She hates me," Lena said later. "She's afraid of losing control," Marcus replied. "So was I." Lena looked at him. "Are you still afraid?" He paused. "Yes," she nodded. "Me too." One night after Ivy had gone to bed, the house felt too quiet again. Marcus poured 2 glasses of wine and handed one to Lena. "You don't have to stay if this becomes too much." She took the glass, but didn't drink. "I've been running my whole life. And now I'm tired." He studied her face. "So am I." The silence between them shifted, heavy but not uncomfortable. You scare me, Marcus said suddenly. Lena's breath caught. Why? Because you see things I try to hide, and because my daughter loves you. And you? Lena asked softly. He didn't answer immediately. When he did, his voice was steady. I'm trying to understand what that means. She set her glass down. I don't need saving. I know, he said. I just don't want to lose you. The words settled between them, raw and honest. Lena's eyes burned. I've never had someone say that without conditions. Marcus stepped closer. Then let this be without conditions. Their foreheads touched briefly, a promise more than a kiss. Weeks passed. Lena became part of the house in a way no one expected. Ivy thrived. Laughter returned. Marcus softened in ways he hadn't realized he'd hardened. Ethan closed the file quietly. Vanessa stopped coming. One afternoon, as Ivy played nearby, Lena sat beside Marcus on the terrace. Do you ever regret hiring me? She asked. He smiled faintly. Every day I regret almost missing you. She laughed softly, wiping her eyes. You're terrible at emotional timing. I'm learning, he said. Ivy ran up to them. Daddy, Lena, look. They both leaned in as Ivy showed them her drawing, 3 stick figures holding hands. That's us, Ivy said proudly. Lena's throat tightened. It's beautiful. Marcus rested his hand over Lena's. She didn't pull away. Later that night, as the house settled into sleep, Marcus spoke quietly. If you're still watching, if this story touched you in any way, take a moment to like this video. It helps stories like this reach people who need them. Lena smiled at him, amused. Smooth. He shrugged. I'm trying. And if you've ever believed in second chances, he continued, leave a comment. Let us know what you think happens next. Lena leaned her head against his shoulder. And subscribe, she added softly, if you want to hear how broken beginnings can turn into something whole. The camera pulled back on the quiet house, light glowing through the windows. Not perfect, but real. And sometimes that was enough. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe for more emotional, high-quality stories like this one. Hit the like button. It helps YouTube recommend this video to more viewers. And leave a comment below sharing your thoughts or the character you connected with the most. Your engagement tells YouTube this story is worth sharing.